What's your favorite holiday? Let me guess. Christmas, Halloween, New Year's. Well, mine, St. Patrick's Day. I know, it might seem like a bit of an odd pick, but I'm an Irish dancer, so I spend my day parading around Northeast Ohio, from bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant, performing my favorite activity in front of middle-aged drunk people. Okay, so maybe it doesn't sound as fun as presents under the tree, but trust me, you just gotta be there. In all seriousness, St. Patrick's Day isn't just my favorite holiday because I'm an Irish dancer. My dad is also from Ireland, so the country and its culture is something I hold very close to my heart. My dad immigrated to the United States in 2003 on a 12-week summer visa. He then married my American mom in August of 2007, making him a legal immigrant through a marriage visa. Notice the 4-year gap from when he immigrated to when he became a legal immigrant. During this 4-year period, no one called, no one came knocking on his door, no one cared. No one cared my dad was an illegal immigrant living in the United States because he's white. And that's the hard truth. No one cares about the white man who's an illegal immigrant, but suddenly that white man's a Hispanic man and they're trying to get him deported? Immigration laws regarding visas, citizenship, and deportation are not linear for all races and countries, but there isn't a valid reason. It all comes back to discrimination, and in this case, immigration discrimination. So today, let's get decked out in green and look at what immigration discrimination really is. Then let's skip over some restaurants and look at the effects and how it's translated into our society. Finally, we'll do our jig and look at small ways we can work towards preventing it. Immigration. As defined by Oxford Languages, immigration is the act of coming to live permanently in a foreign country. Discrimination. Discrimination is the unjust or prejudicial treatment of a certain group of people, especially on the grounds of gender, race, ethnicity, religion, sex, and sexual orientation. So where is the correlation between the two? Why are we discriminating against immigrants specifically? According to Scientific America, dating back thousands of years, humans are highly interdependent, but only upon those within our community. We see foreigners as threats, people who want to take our jobs, convert our norms and values, and rather than help our community, change it. Though this is an outdated and false ideology. According to the New York Post, 18.1% of the United States workforce is composed of foreign-born workers. In an economic climate where worker shortages are already a prominent problem, can you imagine how our economy would take a toll if we eliminated that 18.1%? Foreign-born workers are not trying to steal American jobs, as the media has led us to believe. Instead, they work in unison with U.S.-born workers to help boost our economy and improve their own lives. Think with me for a moment. Who colonized America? White Europeans, of course, and who do we allow to live freely and undocumented upon this land? White Europeans. The targeting of minority immigrants is no coincidence. In fact, it dates back to the prejudice and corrupt ideology the system of this country was built upon. When we deny someone who has escaped a dangerous or impoverished country access onto our land, we deny them the difference between life and death. We deny them resources that could save their lives. Food, shelter, clothing, jobs, the list goes on. And all because they weren't born in this country? Going back to the example with my dad. My dad's second year working here, he had a job at a local Irish pub. He was recently hired along with a man who had just immigrated from Mexico, who spoke very little English and was here working to provide for his family back home in Mexico. My dad and this coworker quickly formed a bond over their shared dreams of the American dream they had heard so much about. They each wanted to open their own bar/restaurant. They would talk about what it would look like, what they would serve there, and most of all, what it would be like to bring their families there. My dad walked into work one day, proud that he had come up with a new marketing scheme for his business. He rushed into work, eager to tell his new coworker all about it, but where was he? But he's on the schedule today. But why isn't he in the kitchen? Is he late? Within only 9 months of living in this country, he had been deported back to Mexico. So I'm not here to offer you some sob story about my dad, because that didn't happen to him. My dad now owns 2 bars of his own, one which opened in 2013 and the other in 2017. But when I stand in front of them, their glowing lights in my face, I don't know if I am looking at hard work or privilege. I don't know whether to be proud or disgusted. And I shouldn't have to feel that way. But his coworker shouldn't have had to go back to Mexico either. As you can see, minorities face enough discrimination from the United States government and other racist individuals, let alone the stigma they face from bystanders such as ourselves. So, what can we do to help them? First, we can start by immersing ourselves in their very culture. You can take a trip to your local and authentic African, Asian, Mexican, or Indian restaurant. Get a taste for a new culture and support a new local and small business. This is a great example of the positive effects of globalization and cultural diffusion, aka the positive effects of immigration. Or how about a more thrifty option? You can search up the online U.S. citizenship application test. Take the test for yourself and see how much you know about the United States. To be honest, I didn't know as much as I thought I would, and I was born here. In all seriousness, there are thousands of people who immigrate to the United States who are seeking asylum or refugee status, meaning their very safety is based on this decision. So how detrimental to their survival is it that they know all the history behind the United States? Ultimately, there is no such thing as an illegal human. There is only human. And we're all human, aren't we? Welcome to the United States Embassy, where we offer you the opportunity to get a visa, green card, or even citizenship to the greatest country in the world. But only if you're white, of working age and condition, don't have any dependents, are not expecting government assistance, are white, are not also a citizen of a third world country. Did I mention you have to be white? But don't worry, as long as you fit into these little meaningless boxes, you are good to go. Immigration discrimination does absolutely nothing to benefit our country. In fact, it does the opposite. It decreases diversity and promotes systemic racism. So today, we learned what immigration discrimination is, how it's translated in our society, and ways we can work towards preventing it. Over the past few years, I've learned that it's okay for me to be proud of my dad. And I am, because ultimately, he did work very hard for his accomplishments, even if they did partially come to privilege. And it's important for me to stand up here in front of you and acknowledge that privilege that my dad has. But more importantly, I need to acknowledge those who didn't have that privilege. I don't know where his coworker is now. I don't know if he's safe. I don't know if his kids are safe. But what I do know is that those kids deserve to be just as proud of their dad as I am of mine.